happy Sunday to you guys from my mama chair with my little buddy Magnus. I'm working on editing my video. It's been a long week. We've been, as usual, busy chugging along, making plans. There's Leify. Leify had a birthday this last week. He is 7 years old now.
I got a pen.
He
for
did.
My birthday.
So, just stopping by to tell you, thank you for watching, first of all. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I love how my little channel is slowly growing, and that's just fine with me. I wanted to apologize. I did not film every meal this week. You're going to see a lot of gaps. Part of it is, I'm sure you can probably hear it, I'm getting over a bug, and it's just kind of been running through the house. One of my kids went off to a weekend retreat and came back with a gift that keeps on giving. So I'm looking forward to warm summer days. Even though I can't stand all the flies and bugs, I am looking forward to it. I'm normally a winter person, but I'm ready for some heat. Anyway, we got some chicks, and we had birthday, and I'm getting ready to start my seeds. So it's been pretty eventful, and I hope that you enjoy, and we will see you next time. Good morning, Astrid. All right, so this was Sunday morning, just firing up my trusty cast iron skillet and putting some bacon grease in. This was that leftover that I had from the potato soup that I had canned and then rendered out. This was actually the last of it. It worked really well for the eggs. It gave them a nice meaty flavor because I didn't serve it with meat this particular time. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We're not particularly picky. Everybody's hungry in the morning. We don't often do things very elaborate. Just about everybody likes eggs. And if they don't like eggs on their own, like the little ones, then normally they'll eat them if they're mommy's eggs. So that's normally what I end up doing. And I'm just pouring in my water glassed eggs. I think it was about 18 or so. It was, the last of a gallon jar that I had. I've been trying to use those up and do new jars of eggs pretty frequently. The girls are laying nicely right now, and their eggs are relatively clean, which surprises me considering how much mud we have. But we do try to keep their coop nice and clean. So, and lots of fresh wood chips go into their nest boxes too, pretty regularly. Oh, actually, you know what? I was wrong. It looks like we are serving some leftover steak that I had cooked and scrambled eggs with sriracha and a cup of coffee. And then here, this is lunch, and this was that goulash that I had made in Make Ahead Meals Month. It's really nice to be able to utilize some of these things that we took some extra time to do last month so that dinners are easier this month, or lunches in this case. It ended up tasting really good. And then we went over to the bread mixer. I had just mixed up some fresh red wheat, and it's just such a luxury to be able to grind up the wheat, take it straight over to your mixer, and get some yummy bread going for the family. So that's what I was working on there. And then I wanted to make some granola. It's my own recipe. I've tweaked it over time, and it turns out really well. This particular one has crispy nuts and chia seeds and honey and just not too many ingredients, but boy, does it taste good. And then for the other half, I mixed in blueberries and cherries. I like to mix them in after the granola has baked. Otherwise, the fruit will get like rock hard, and that's not very happy. So I mix it in while it's still pretty warm in this picture, but boy, did it turn out nice. And then for dinner, I'm doing a ham. So this is a fresh ham. I normally get them smoked, but last year I had wanted to try fresh. This has been in my freezer. It's time to use it up. So I just unwrap it. It was beautiful, big ham, just gorgeous meat. I've learned a few things after cooking that I'll do differently, but for this particular time, I put it in my big roasting pan on a bed of onions to give it some moisture, and then I ended up making my own barbecue sauce, which I haven't really done very often. It's a base of ketchup, and then I'm trying to think of what I added. Yeah, the ketchup bottles. It used to be a much bigger bottle, but now they're doing that whole downsize, smaller size package thing at Aldi. I was looking at my old ones were much bigger size, but these new ones are tiny size for the same price. Shrinkflation, isn't that what it was called? I think so. It's frustrating. But anyway, I just added some water and shook it in there, and I'm emptying it all out because you don't want to lose any. That's a tip for you. Just add a little bit of some liquid and shake it in the bottle so that you don't lose any of that ketchup. And then I'm just adding garlic powder and chili powder. I've got a little bit of mustard powder, and let's see, what else do I have there? Ooh, smoked paprika. I didn't have any liquid smoke, which I like to add to barbecue sauce, so I use that. And then cumin, which is also kind of smoky. It was really good. And pardon my voice, I'm on the tail end of a cold, so that's not a whole lot of fun. That was apple cider vinegar, my homemade apple cider vinegar. I can't believe how well that turned out. I am so going to do that again. And then I had salt and pepper on the ham itself, and I cut it in the fat diagonally, as you can see, to make little diamonds, just so that the seasoning and sauce can get down in there better. It's a beautiful piece of meat. I'm really happy with that. And then I poured it on there. So while that was in the oven, I started working on green bean casserole. It's something we all love. Yes, I did end up using a can of soup. I know. I need to make my own cream of mushroom soup again. I added some garlic salt and pepper. I really like the taste of garlic salt and garlic powder in our green bean casserole. We like it nice and flavorful. And then I had a couple of my jars, and I had drained out the juice and saved it. I had made lemon chicken last week, so I added this to lemon chicken juice and then cooked it in some rice later, and I kind of forgot to film that, so sorry about that. But I did end up saving that green bean juice, and it made a delicious rice. I was super happy with that, because that was a lot of liquid, and all those nutrients from your green beans leached out into it, so I was really glad I saved it. And then this is how that beautiful whole wheat bread came out. I made 3 loaves, and they were almost all gone by the end of the day. That was very popular. Oh yeah, I forgot I had mixed some. So here we have the pork, green bean casserole, rice, Boston baked beans. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning, and it's sheer chaos because we just had breakfast. Sorry I didn't film it. I've missed several meals this week just for various reasons. We've been super busy, had to go out of the house a lot, so a lot of times the kids have made meals while Mama was gone. But this morning we had toast, and we are getting ready to make some Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
So pastries. We're making pastries that are like that thing that you buy in the store. So I just made 3 batches pie crust, and we're gonna roll these out and get them going. It's gonna be delicious. This is a really good pie crust recipe, and I certainly can't claim any credit for it. I found it on Pinterest, and it's pretty simple. It's butter and shortening and apple cider vinegar, egg, water. Let's see, what else is there? Flour, sugar, and salt. So it's a nice, easy recipe, and it rolls out really nice. I've tried to make it by hand. It will work, but I find it's much more tender if I just whiz it up in the food processor, but we get the job done either way. In this case, I don't mind utilizing my machine to help me along. I have some mulberry pie filling in that jar. That's what we're going to use for the toaster pastry. I have to chuckle because I'm actually out in our new to us car trying to get my voiceover work done, because when I'm in the house, they inevitably hunt me down and find me and want something. And, well, it turns out that they do that when I'm in the car, too. Oh, I love them. It's great. But I know if I'm in the house, then it's going to be extra, extra noisy. So I'd rather sit out in a quiet car. I realized for last week's video, I apologize. I had done that in my room, and the phone was just rubbing on the blankets, and I didn't realize that would actually make noise. So I apologize for that. That did not work out very well at all, but hopefully you were able to hear things okay. And here I'm just cutting some rough rectangles. I could have done a better job, but I just didn't feel like it. We'll call them rustic toaster pastries, or hand pies, whatever you want to call them. When I was growing up, my mom made these incredible things. They were tarts, we called them. They were deep fried and absolutely incredible. I'll have to ask her how to do those. But these are so beautiful, aren't they? Look at how those turned out. They have nice flaky. I don't think I'll ever get over being excited over a pie crust going well. Miss Elizabeth was my kitchen helper here. She didn't appreciate being filmed, but she got past that. She's just putting the mulberry pie filling on these. Sorry about the shaky camera work. I was kind of showing her to use a little bit less and try and keep it in the margins a little bit more, just so that we don't get a whole lot of leakage out of these beautiful pastries. I just love the way they look. They're beautiful already. So she got all of them done, and then you brush some egg on the edges and then crimp it after that, and that's how you keep that filling in where it belongs. And they're so fun. They're just eating a little pie, really. We didn't even end up glazing these, though you certainly could. You could use powdered sugar, water, maybe a little vanilla, or you could use powdered sugar and milk and a little vanilla, or you could even use like a fruit juice or something as your liquid. Ooh, that would be really nice and pretty if you happen to have some canned mulberries and syrup. You could maybe use a little bit of syrup or juice to do it, and then you would have a beautiful, vivid glaze too. I think we're going to do that. That sounds awesome. And you can see those turned out just gorgeous, so flaky and delicious. Was some of those freezer meatballs I had made and some spaghetti. It was absolutely delicious. This was actually a day I came home and Ben had made these and made the pasta for me. And boy, they're just absolutely delicious. And then here is Mr. Leafy's 7th birthday. I had plans for some elaborate cake, and he had asked me for a Pokemon themed cake. And I got to tell you, I had been out all day, just been out and about a lot. I don't particularly enjoy being out so much, but sometimes it's necessary. Anyway, he was a real sweetheart about it. It's a couple of strawberry box cake mixes I didn't even end up doing by scratch, but that's okay, because look at that smile. Such a happy boy. He is just such a little joy. So great. Little Mr. 7 years old. Oh, Leafy's a pretty special guy. I'm very grateful to have each one of them. And I wanted to work on breakfast next morning. And one of my favorite things is overnight steel-cut oats. This old crock pot came from my mother-in-law, and it works really well. It's not super big. I don't know how many quarts it is, but it makes just perfect. So I'm using canned cow. Canned cow is what I've heard it called plenty of times. Just some evaporated milk. Of course, you could use regular milk. I have a whole jar of apple butter here. Even though this is pumpkin spice, I wanted to use apple butter just to help give it some extra lovely spice flavor. Just scraping out the rest. I wanted to have some really good stuff, and I only had 1 jar of pumpkin butter left, so I wasn't super eager to use it. However, I have a bunch of this canned pumpkin that I had done last fall, and it just went in there just beautiful. You can see that vivid color. That was from those cheap Walmart pumpkins I had bought. What they call the decorative pumpkins that are just massive, and they're like $6 or something. And then I've got a whole bunch of pumpkin pie spice here. The smell of this is already just amazing. And then, of course, you got to have cinnamon. Oh, yeah, and I did spray the crock with cooking spray. I just find that's a good idea. And then I put a good glug of vanilla in there. And I've got brown sugar, the sucanat. I don't remember why I didn't use sucanat. I don't know, probably because the brown sugar was right there. And I know it seemed like a lot. This is a lot of oatmeal. And then for this more liquid, I'm adding water from those jars of canned stuff. Don't waste that. Fill those jars up, just like I did with the ketchup bottle. Fill those jars up with water. Rinse them out and get every little bit of good taste out of those jars and into your pot. There's just no reason not to rinse out all that goodness. You went through all that work to can your food. Don't waste a drop or a smidgen or any of it. It's all a blessing, and I certainly don't want to waste even a little bit. I'm looking at my evaporated milk can here. I'm kind of surprised I didn't rinse that out. Oh, a little pinch of salt. Yep, got to remember the salt. That's looking gorgeous, isn't it? Oh my goodness, there's no greater pleasure than waking up in the morning to that. It is so good. Not all the kids like it, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's just the way it is. But I love that I can put this on low and it will go overnight. And then, yes, I also forgot I had to put a half a stick of butter in there, and that just gives it a beautiful layer of flavor. Just really, really nice. And I know when I had tasted this, it was a little on the sweet side, which is okay because it's going to soak it up. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. I thought I was losing my mind. I did end up rinsing that out with some water as well. So that's good. I was a little concerned because it was taking a long time for this crock pot to warm up. But the fact of the matter is it's old and the house was very cold inside. But it came along just fine in its own time. I certainly don't want to retire it. It's been a very useful tool. You can see it's on the smaller side. It's super cute. It's retro. And then here's those oats. We topped them with craisins and some crispy nuts. And this was so very good. I'm a huge fan of having nuts on my oatmeal. I just think that it tastes absolutely delicious. I'm not exactly sure why I have so many shots of the oatmeal. I guess I must have been very fond of it. So there you go. Oh, and then I had to show you, here is our little baby chicks. They are so cute. We got 8 so far. We have 2 Calico Princesses, 4 Rhode Island Reds, and a couple of little Buff Orpingtons. These are the most friendly, sweet, lively little girls. They're brooding just in the basement for the moment, and then they'll go out when they get older. But aren't they just the cutest? I love this time of year, chick season. Last year I had bought a Nurture Right incubator, and I heard such good things about it, but I must have got the dud. I noticed there's either amazing reviews or bad reviews, and unfortunately I got the one that deserves the bad reviews. The humidity and heat never would hold no matter what I did. I ended up unfortunately losing 36 quail eggs thanks to the malfunctions of that machine. So this time I'm going to go with a different brand despite the rave reviews, because like I said, when I looked it up, there were half people who absolutely loved it and half who said that they had a miserable time with it and lots of flaws. And well, I guess I just got lucky this time getting the one that had the things wrong with it. So that was too bad. But I will be finding a different incubator because we do have fertile eggs with our ladies, and it's awful fun to hatch them out. We've done that before, just let mama hatch out babies. There's just nothing so cute and magical as hearing the little peeps in the eggs underneath mama, and then seeing her running around with her babies, and then seeing the babies tucked up under it. And look at these guys. They're so playful and curious. They just really love my ring. So there's your cuteness overload. And then this is what we call hoo hash. This is just my last jar of dry canned potatoes. I'm going to have to do more, and some kielbasa, and then some of that leftover. This was lunch, by the way. Leftover oatmeal, and then some fried eggs, because it's never a bad time of day to have those things. And then there's Miss Abigail being silly. Oh, and then for dinner we had chicken enchiladas. Absolutely delicious. Again, I made these for the Make Ahead Meals Month, if you'll recall. And some beautiful salad. And then we had avocado and sour cream on that. There's Mr. Aiden. I love that guy. Oh, there's Happy again. And then the pancakes were for breakfast yesterday morning. Now, the meals that you don't see, we had pizza and leftovers. So this was it.